Good morning, 8th class students. So we are discussing the lesson energy from the sun. So we have discussed in the last class part 2 sun's rays and earth surface, and we also discussed the angle of incidence, heating of the atmosphere, about land and water. So in the last class we also discussed about the UV rays, X-rays, radio waves. Okay, and in the last class we discussed highest temperature and lowest temperature. So the highest temperature we can see in Libya, that is in Algeria. So the highest temperature is 57.8 degrees C. How much? 57.8 degrees C. And the lowest temperature recorded at Antarctica, okay, that is, and the place is Vostok. So here the lowest temperature is 89.2 Celsius. So all these we are discussed in the last class, part 2. So in this class, part 3. So this is the class, part 3. So in this class, we shall discuss about recording temperature. So this is the next topic we have to discuss. Okay. So what is the topic? Recording temperature. So this is part 3, recording temperature. How we are record the temperature. So this one we have to discuss in this class. Okay. So we can record the temperature. Okay, highest temperature and lowest temperature. Okay. So we have to record like highest temperature and lowest temperature. Okay. So here highest means maximum temperature. So here highest means what? Maximum temperature. Okay. So the lowest means minimum temperature. Okay. So highest means maximum temperature. So lowest means minimum temperature. So in this way we have to record, or we can record, okay, the temperature of Hyderabad, Anantapur, okay, Delhi, Panaji. So in this way we have to record the temperature of maximum temperature and minimum temperature. Okay, so the temperature may be different from one place to another place. So I have already told you. Okay, so our earth looks like a round. Okay, so in this earth there are so many countries are there. So the middle line of the globe is called 0 degree latitude or equator. Okay, and these are the polar regions, North Pole and South Pole. Okay, so when you come to the world map, the temperature may be differ from one place to another place. Okay, and when you come to the Andhra Pradesh, so in our state Andhra Pradesh also the temperature may be differ from one place to another place. Okay, so from Jan to December, so there may be a differences. Okay, so different places have different temperature. So in the world map I have already told you, if you go to 0 degree latitude, equator, here the temperature is very high. So why? Because here the sun's rays are falling straightly 90 degree. Okay, so that's why in 0 degree latitude, equator, okay, here the climate is very hot climate. So if you go to polar regions, North Pole and South Pole, so here the temperature is very low. Why? Because here the sun's rays are falling slantingly. So here slantingly means bend. So here the sun's rays are falling directly. So when you come to the polar regions, here the sun's rays are falling slantingly. So that means bend. So that's why when you come to the Andhra Pradesh also, the temperature may be different from month Jan to December. Okay, so different places have different temperature. So that's why the different places are different temperature. So that's why here moderate and extreme climate. So when you come to the Andhra Pradesh, we can see the moderate climate and at the same time extreme climate also. Okay, so here those places are near to the sea. Okay, so when you come to the India map, okay, so India map, so this is the Tamil Nadu, so this is the Andhra Pradesh. So this is the coastal belt. So here Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean. Okay, so this one Sri Lanka. Okay, so when you come to the, those places are near to the sea. So those places are near to the sea. So that places have moderate climate. So these places are called what? Moderate climate. Okay, so those places are located near to the sea. That places climate is moderate climate. Okay, so example Panaji. Okay, Vizag, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so these places are moderate climate. Why? Because these places are located near the sea. So those places are located near the sea. Okay, that places are moderate climate. Why? Because the sea breezes reduce the temperature. So that's why here the climate is moderate climate. Okay, and at the same time those places are far away from the sea. So those places are far away from the sea. So that is called extreme climate. Okay, so those places are far away from the sea. Okay, so that places are called extreme climate. So here example is Anantapuram. So here the Anantapuram is far away from the sea. So that's why here the climate is extreme climate. Okay, so this is about the recording temperature. Okay, all of you clear? Okay, once again I am repeating. So we can record the temperature. Okay, the highest temperature and lowest temperature. Okay, so I have already told you. So here highest temperature means maximum temperature. So lowest temperature means minimum temperature. Okay, so in this way we have to record the temperature. Okay, so in this way we have to record the temperature of Hyderabad. Okay, we have to record the temperature of Anantapuram. We have to record the temperature of Delhi. We have to record the temperature of Panaji. Okay, so in this way we have to record the temperature. So I have already told you the temperature may be different from one place to another place. So when you come to the world map, okay, the 0 degree latitude, so this is called equator. So in the equator, generally the climate is very hot climate. So why? Because here the sun's rays are falling directly. So 90 degree angle. So that's why here there is a hot climate. So when you move to the polewards, North Pole and South Pole, here the climate is very cool climate. So why? Because here the sun's rays are falling slantingly, bend. So that's why here the temperature will be minus degree. So in this way, in our state India, in our country India or AP, our state AP, also we have to record the temperature from Jan to December. Okay, so different places have different temperature. So I have already told you. Okay, so when you come to the world map, when you come to the India map, or when you come to our state Andhra Pradesh map, so here the temperature may be different from one place to another place. So the temperature is not same. Okay. So in some places there is a moderate climate. So in some places there is a extreme climate. Okay. Moderate climate and extreme climate. So here moderate climate is nothing but those places are located near the sea. So here Bay of Bengal is there, Arabian Sea is there, Indian Ocean is there. So those places are located near the sea. So generally in that places the temperature is very low temperature. So that is called moderate temperature or moderate climate. And those, for example, I already told you, Visakhapatnam, moderate temperature, Panaji, moderate temperature, Kakinada, okay, moderate temperature. So why? Because these places are located near the sea. And those places are far away from the sea, so that places have extreme climate. Okay, example, Anantapuram. Okay, I already told you. So example is Anantapuram. So this is the extreme climate. Okay, so this is all about the recording temperature. Okay, so next topic. We have to discuss next topic. Okay, so the next topic is height and temperature. Okay, so next topic is height and temperature. Okay, so here height means little bit higher. Okay, so here those places are very high from the mean sea level. So this is called seas, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean. So those places are very high from the mean sea level. The temperature is very low. So if you go to higher and higher and higher, the temperature may be decrease. The temperature may be reduce. The temperature may be low temperature. Okay. So those places are very high altitude. Okay. So that places generally low temperature. Okay. So those places are very high from the MSL. So here MSL is nothing but mean sea level. Okay, so example, Ooty, Simla, Delhi. So all these places are located in high altitude. So that's why in summer season also these places are very cool climate. So if you go to Ooty in summer season, the climate is very cool. If you go to Simla, the climate is very cool. So if you go to Manali, the climate is very cool. Why? Because these places are located in high altitude from the mean sea level. Okay, so higher elevations are generally low temperature. So generally those places are located in the higher elevation. That places generally we can see the low temperature. Okay, those places are in higher altitude. That places are usually low temperature. So that is called higher elevations. Okay. So usually for every 1000 meters in elevation, the temperatures fall 6 degrees C. So if you go to higher and higher and higher, okay. So every 1000, okay. So every 1000 meter, if you go to height, the temperature will be decreased. That is 6 degrees C. If you go to 1000 meter, higher and higher and higher, the temperature may be decreased. The temperature may be decreased 6 degrees centigrade. Okay. So if you go to the higher and higher elevations, the temperature will be decreased. So that's why if you move or if you go to higher and higher and higher, the temperature will be decreased. So that's why when the space, okay, the space is going to the space at that time in rocket, they are using the oxygen. Okay, why? Because if you go to higher altitude, there may be no oxygen. If you move higher and higher and higher, there may be no oxygen. Okay, so I already told you, if you go 1000 meter height, okay, the temperature will be decreased 6 degrees C. So in the same way, if you go to higher and higher and higher and higher, the temperature may be decreased. Okay, if you go to higher and higher elevations, the temperature will be decreased. So that's why the hill stations, Ooty, Shimla, Mussoorie, Darjeeling, okay, are very less temperature, and these are the summer resorts. So that's why in the summer season, okay, so many tourists are planning to visit these places. Okay, so these are called hill stations. Okay, Ooty is a hill station, Shimla is a hill station, Mussoorie is a hill station, Darjeeling is a hill station. So when you go in the summer season also, here the temperature is very low. So that's why these regions are called summer resorts. Okay, so here the temperature is very cool. Okay, so all of you clear? So once again I am repeating. Okay, height and temperature. So here height is nothing but if you move higher and higher and higher, okay, the temperature may be decreased. So that is called height. Okay, so those places are very high from the mean sea level. So this is the sea levels. Okay, so those places are very high from the mean sea level. So the temperature is very low temperature. Example, Ooty, Shimla, Delhi. So these are located in the higher elevations. Okay, so here higher elevations are generally low temperature. So I have already told you. So the higher elevations generally the low temperature. So usually for every 1000 meters height, the temperature may be decreased. Okay, so the temperature may be decreased 6 degrees C. If you go 1000 meters height, the temperature will be decreased. That one 6 degrees C. Okay, so if you go to higher and higher elevation, the temperature will be decreased. Okay, so that's why the hill stations. Okay, so in our country some hill stations are there. Okay, Ooty, Shimla, Mussoorie, Darjeeling. So these are the hill stations. So generally in summer season also here the temperature is very low. So that's why Ooty, Shimla, Mussoorie, Darjeeling. So these places are called summer resorts. These places are called summer resorts. So this is all about the height and temperature. Okay, all of you clear? Okay. So next topic is temperature in places near and far from the equator. Okay. So next topic is temperature in places near and far from the equator. So how the temperature? Okay, near the equator and far. So this one we have to discuss. Okay, temperature in places okay, so temperature in places near and far. Okay, near and far, okay, from the equator. So this is the topic. Okay, so those places are near to the equator is hot climate. So I have already told you. So those places are near to the equator, 0 degree latitude. So here the climate is very hot climate. Okay, why? Because here the sun's rays are falling directly. So that's why here the climate is very hot climate. So here the sun's rays are falling directly. Okay, so that's why in 0 degree latitude or in equator the climate is very hot climate. Okay, so in this place some countries are located. Okay, South America near to the equator. Okay, Africa near to the equator. South India also near to the equator. Okay, Indonesia is also near to the equator. So that's why these places are little bit hot climate. Why? Because these places are located near to the equator. So that's why those places are located near to the equator. That places are very hot climate. Okay, and those places are far away from the equator. Okay, North Pole and the South Pole. Okay, so those places are far away from the equator. So that places are very cool climate. Okay, I already told you. Vladivostok. Okay, North Pole, South Pole. So these are generally cool climate. Okay, so this is all about temperature in places near and far from the equator. Clear? So once again I am repeating. So the topic is temperature in places near and far from the equator. So those places are near to the equator. So that place is generally very hot climate. So why? Because here the sun's rays are falling straightly, directly at a 90-degree angle. So that's why here climate is very hot climate. Okay. So here some countries or some places are located. Okay. South America near to the equator. Africa near to the equator. South India near to the equator. Indonesia near to the equator. So these places are very hot climate. So why? Because these places are located in the 0-degree latitude equator. Okay, and those places are far away from the equator. That places have generally cool climate. Example, Vladivostok. Okay, North Pole, South Pole. Okay, generally these places are cool climate. Why? Because they are far away from the equator. Okay, so this is all about energy from the sun. So all of you clear? So once again, revise carefully, students. Okay, you have to underline the hard words in pencil. Okay, and maintain one notebook. So in that notebook, you have to write the important points. Okay, so revise carefully. Thank you. Have a nice day.